With this all in mind, is there any room for improvement? I briefly mentioned stylish dodge earlier, and that's the one thing I hear the most complaints about. To do a stylish dodge, you have to press back or down back at the last second. Each stylish dodge costs about 30% of your guard gauge. Because you press back, it's easy to fuzzy guard or panic mash down back to get out of tense situations. There is a high and a low version of stylish dodge, but guessing wrong only uses a bit more guard gauge. On top of that initial invincible sidestep, there's a second of invincible frames after that, so long as the user doesn't press a button. If a player isn't careful, they can completely throw away momentum and give the opponent a free combo. It's a nice idea on the surface, as it adds an extra mechanic to every character's toolset to prevent crazy lopsided matchups. But it needs some tweaking. Some players have an interesting idea of making you have to press forward to stylish dodge. Guessing the high or low parry wrong should result in getting hit. This would make panic mashing to parry impossible. I would also remove or greatly reduce those extra invincibility frames after the initial sidestep. Players would then have to better consider when to parry in order not to get trapped in a block string. Another idea that I see players talking about would be to normalize some characters a bit. That is to say, remove some character-specific traits that make opponents throw away their basic understanding of the game to fight them. Things like Iggy not being able to be thrown, or Joseph and Gyro being able to recover from their normals faster than anyone else. Sometimes these things can add depth to the cast, but there are those that don't want it to be like Tekken, where you feel like you have to learn a specific rule set depending on what character you fight against. Players also commonly complained about anti-air and air-to-air hit recovery. As seen in the previous video, opponents tend to recover very quickly when they are knocked out of the air and it feels like the neutral is for the most part reset. some characters do have guaranteed moves after this. But it's very situational, and it isn't always consistent. That's the big problem. It feels like a risk to go after characters that are knocked out of the air. Maybe if the opponent popped higher into the air, or was more juggleable, players would be more willing to try a follow-up or a setup after. I feel that this is the final piece of the puzzle to make sure jumping isn't something that players fall back on as a safety net. Is there anything else? Well, I'm sure people would like a faster walk speed. And some might want to get rid of proximity blocking. Allowing for more substantial damage or confirms off of counterpokes might also promote the neutral game. Above all, there should be a decent tutorial that goes over all the basic mechanics so players know what's at their disposal. Some people still don't know that there are flash cancels or stand rush in this game. What do you think would help? Feel free to voice your opinion in the comments.